All right, let's start with a question. Have you ever really looked at a puri? After it puffs up all golden and perfect? Why is one side always like paper thin compared to the other? It seems like such a small thing, right? But that little question, well, that's the secret key to unlocking the entire world of science. And today, we're going to dive into how that simple curiosity is the bedrock of, well, everything we've ever discovered.
I mean, really, picture it. You're in the kitchen, you can smell the hot oil, you slide that little disc of dough in, and poof, it swells up like magic. But then you look closer, and there it is, that weirdly thin side. Why does that happen? That question, right there in your kitchen, that's the starting line. That's where our whole journey begins.
And look, this kind of curiosity, it doesn't just stay in the kitchen. Oh no, it can stretch all the way to the edges of the universe. I mean, think about this for a second. Are there more grains of sand on every single beach on Earth, or are there more stars in just our galaxy? It sounds like a totally different kind of question, but it's not. The exact same way of thinking that helps us figure out the puri, that's the same way we start to tackle the biggest mysteries of the cosmos.
So yeah, that's really the heart of what we're getting into. Science isn't about having all the answers memorized. It's about getting really, really good at asking the right questions. It almost always boils down to two little words: why and how.
So, a scientific investigation, it's really an adventure, right? It's the difference between being a tourist with a map someone else made and being an explorer, heading off into the unknown. You're not just passively learning facts that are already in a book, you're learning how to find brand new facts that nobody's ever seen before.
And to be a good explorer, you're going to need a couple of essential things in your toolkit. The source material we're drawing from for this explainer has this fantastic way of thinking about it, this great metaphor. You need a root and you need a kite.
Okay, so what does that even mean? Well, think of the root as being planted firmly in the ground. It's all about reality. It's the careful observations, the real-world data, the stuff you can actually see and measure. It keeps you honest, But then you have the kite, and that's your curiosity, your imagination. That's the part that lets your ideas soar high up into the sky, asking those big what-if questions and just dreaming up wild new ideas.
And this balance, it's absolutely everything. If you only have a kite, your ideas just float away. They're fantasies, totally disconnected from how things actually work. But if you only have a root, you're stuck. Your knowledge is solid, but it never grows and never goes anywhere new. Real discovery, the big breakthroughs, they happen in that sweet spot where the two connect, where your solid, grounded observations give your creative ideas the fuel they need to fly.
Okay, so that might sound a little abstract. Let's bring it back down to Earth. And guess what? You don't need a fancy lab coat or $1 million microscope to do this. All you need is a kitchen.
Yep, we're going back to the mystery of the puffing puri. It is the perfect little case study. So, if we're going to put on our scientist hats, how do we actually tackle this?
Well, you'd follow a process. A pretty simple one, actually. First, you state your question clearly. Then, you figure out all the things you can change. We call those variables. After that, you decide what you're going to watch for, the outcomes. Now, here's the golden rule. You only change one thing at a time. That's super important. And last but not least, you write everything down, every little thing you see.
So for our puri, what are those variables? What are the knobs we can turn? Well, there's the thickness of the dough, right? Or the size. What about the type of flour we use? Or the temperature of the oil? Is it screaming hot or just simmering? Even how you drop it in could make a difference. Every single one of those is a variable you could test.
And what about the outcomes? What are we watching for? It could be a simple yes or no, did it puff up? Or we could get more detailed and pull out a stopwatch. How many seconds did it take? We'd be a detective using all our senses. Did the oil smoke or splatter? What did it sound like? Every single observation is another clue.
And here's the part that I just love. It's kind of mind-blowing. Get this. Even with all our incredible science, that simple act of a puri puffing up, it's still not 100% understood by scientists today. No, really. It just goes to show you there are amazing mysteries hiding in plain sight all around us.
So right now you might be thinking, okay, a puri is one thing, but what about the big stuff? What about the planets? And that's the beautiful part. The exact same method, this whole process, is precisely how we've unlocked the biggest secrets of the universe. It's always that same combination, the root of careful observation and the kite of a soaring imagination. That combo is the engine behind pretty much every great discovery we've ever made.
That way of thinking allowed us to discover a whole hidden world, revealing the millions of tiny microbes swimming in a single drop of water. It completely changed medicine forever.
It's how we figured out how to tame something as wild and scary as lightning and turn it into the electricity that powers our entire world.
It's how we unraveled the secrets of light itself, giving us everything from simple eyeglasses to giant telescopes that see back in time. And just by watching the moon go through its phases, night after night, our ancestors built the very first calendars, the foundation of organized society. This same mindset helps us see the invisible connections in nature, mapping the incredibly complex web of life that supports every living thing on this planet.
And right now, today, this way of thinking is more important than ever. It's how we're tackling our biggest challenges, like climate change, where our actual survival depends on us being able to combine hard data with incredibly creative, bold new ideas.
So, this all brings us right back to you, because this scientific method isn't some secret handshake for people in lab coats. It's a tool. It's your tool. You can use it every single day. The only thing you need to get started is a little bit of curiosity.
I think the source material for this explainer puts it perfectly. It's like this. Let your careful observations be your guide on the path, but always let your curiosity be the compass that points you where to go next.
And that's really the big idea here. Thinking like a scientist isn't about a checklist of rules. It's a mindset. It's a way of looking at the world around you. It's about combining that serious, careful attention to detail with a sense of pure, childlike wonder.
So, we'll leave you with this. The world is just a giant playground full of puzzles, big and small, from the food on your plate to the stars in the sky. The only question left is, what's the first thing you're going to investigate?